The racist and Islamophobic riots in the UK over the past week make me ashamed to be British. The things that have been happening in various parts of England and Northern Ireland are truly shocking and unprecedented in my lifetime. I thought that race riots in the UK were a thing of the 70s and 80s. I never expected that they could happen in 2024, but the sad reality is that the violent racist thugs involved in the events of the past few days have proven me wrong. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but we are in a situation where non-white people in certain parts of the country are literally afraid to go outside for fear of being assaulted. I'm sure you've already seen some of the horrifying events that have taken place, but I wanted to share some of the most shocking things that I've seen so far. This is a screenshot of a video taken in Middlesbrough, in which white men are standing in the road and stopping cars passing by to see if the drivers are white or non-white. If they're white, they let the cars pass by, and if they're non-white, they seek to attack the cars and their drivers. This screenshot is from a video taken in Hull, which shows rioters attacking a car driven by a non-white person. Here, rioters are attacking a hotel in Tamworth near Birmingham. The hotel houses asylum seekers, including young children. The rioters are attempting to burn down the building. This was taken the next morning and shows some of the racist graffiti that the rioters left, as well as some of the damage they did to the hotel. It's worth pointing out that these are only a few of the countless horrific scenes we've seen over the past week. For example, another really shocking video I've seen shows a young girl who looks about 8 years old walking down the street in Belfast shouting the P word. And by the way, if you want to see the full videos of the things I've just been talking about, I'll be posting them as separate videos on this account. News of the riots is being reported internationally. The UK has a reputation as a tolerant country with low levels of racism, discrimination and indiscriminate violence. What do you think people from other countries will think when they see these horrifying scenes coming out of the UK? I, for one, will be less proud to say that I'm British when I meet people from other countries. On a related note, several countries, including Nigeria, Malaysia, Australia and Indonesia, have already issued travel warnings to their citizens because of the riots. They have advised their nationals to stay away from the riots and be extra vigilant while in the UK. Malaysia, Nigeria and Indonesia are Muslim-majority countries and are likely concerned that their citizens, being Muslim and non-white, are at greater risk in the UK. And to be honest, they are right to be concerned. The reality is that in some parts of the UK right now, non-white people are at risk of violence, and we should be very ashamed about this. Some journalists and commentators are saying that we need to address the concerns of the rioters and protesters. They are saying we need to think about the problems caused by immigration and ask ourselves whether integration hasn't worked. I strongly disagree with them. Of course there are legitimate concerns related to these issues, but we must not give the rioters legitimacy by talking about these things right now. The absolute priority at the moment must be to unequivocally condemn the rioters and ensure that we restore safety and security to the communities affected by the racist and Islamophobic violence. Also, let's not forget that the riots actually have nothing to do with the stabbings that took place in Southport last Monday. As I'm sure you know, someone on social media made up a false name for the suspect and claimed he was a Syrian Muslim asylum seeker who had arrived in the UK on a small boat. In reality, the suspect was born in Wales and is a Christian. So it doesn't make any sense that these riots are happening in the first place, since the event that sparked them, the stabbings in Southport, have nothing to do with illegal immigration or Islam. This shows that certain people in this country, and I am deeply ashamed that these people share my nationality, only need the tiniest reason, which doesn't even have to be true, to start engaging in horrifying acts of violence against Muslims and people of colour. As well as this, I think it's really quite offensive to suggest that now is the time to have the discussion about whether integration is working. Some commentators, such as LBC radio presenter Ali Miraj, are picking this moment to have this discussion. Usually, when people talk about integration, they are pointing the finger at certain Muslim communities which they deem not to have sufficiently integrated into British society. When Muslim communities have been the most impacted by the abhorrent violence of the past week, I think it is extremely rude and distasteful to suggest that now is the time to listen to the concerns of those who are involved in this violence. The last thing I want to say is that this is a really sad moment in our history, but I know that love will always be stronger than hate.